All right, this is Riley Kuntz of Rock House Roofing. We're doing a video roof inspection in Stone Mountain, Georgia today. This is a 3-tab style of shingle. I'd say it's probably around 15, maybe 20 years old, and it's probably about 25 squares or so. Basically what we're doing, we're going through the roof, we're looking for any problems that we see, whether that be installation errors or weather-related damage, and then we're giving you some advice on how to prolong the life of your roof, and if you need a new roof, we can walk you through that process as well. Basically, I've already walked this roof, and I'll just go ahead and start with the weather-related damage that I'm seeing up here. You do have a good bit of wind damage up here. Got a lot of tree coverage around the house, especially on this backside, which we'll get to that in a second, but you don't get a ton of wind coming through. Most of it is on this slope right here. And basically what I'm looking for is right here. This is a perfect example of a wind damage shingle. And you can see that crease going across the top there. And that's from the wind lifting that shingle up and down continuously. Over time, it creases that shingle, and that crease will become more and more defined, and it'll eventually break that shingle off. That'll expose your nail heads, your underlayment, and could definitely cause a leak. So you have another one right here. I think on this slope, I found maybe six or seven. There's another one up here towards the top. And a few more kind of just scattered throughout. You have also some low shingles right here. Right here in this area, 1, 2, 3. These shingles are sitting just a little too low, and you can see how the patterning doesn't match up right here. And more than likely, that's just poor installation. But I did want to notate that because these shingles, as a result of that, are more susceptible to wind damage. And you can see this one's starting to form a crease there. So that's another wind damage shingle. And there's a few more down here by this wire. One here, one here. So like I said, on this slope, you got a good bit of wind damage. You have 2 satellite dishes, which I don't know if you use either of those, but if you don't, I would recommend removing them because it's just a good place for the wood to rot and for a leak to start. You have 2 pipe boots over here as well, and nail pops kind of scattered throughout where you can see that shingle is starting to lift up in the middle. That's from a nail working its way out of the shingle and starting to lift that tab up. So lots going on this particular slope. On this one, you have a little more algae growth. I didn't see quite as much wind damage, but I did see a few. There's one right here. You can see that crease. Another one right here. And I think I found total 3. So there's 3 on this slope, about 6 or 7 on that slope. And then looking back here, I think I found just 1 on this slope. And then on the other side, closest to the driveway, I found 1 more. So there's damage on all 4 slopes. I can't guarantee that an insurance company would buy this, but you certainly have a shot with the wind damage up here. It's an older roof, and it's pretty brittle in terms of repairability. So I don't know, you could probably get away with repairing it, but you might end up causing more damage when you go to lift these shingles up and replace them. You might end up creasing them further. So just wanted to notate that as well. So that pretty much covers the weather related damage side of things. And as far as your accessories go, I think you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pipe boots and 2 exhaust vents. And then you have box vents up here as well, all these black boxes. And those are designed to ventilate your attic. That's an older style of ventilation. But you also have the older style ridge vent, which this isn't really commonly used anymore, this metal ridge vent, because it dents up so easily. But having both of these is not a good thing because you're actually counter ventilating your attic space, because the air escapes through these and it traps air right above here. So this area of the attic is going to get extremely hot and cook your shingles, and that's why you have some blistering and stuff like that, it's going to deteriorate those shingles a lot faster. Let's see. The trees that are overhanging the house right here definitely need to be trimmed back. We see it all the time where people have leaks or critters coming into their house because these trees touch the roof. You never want any branches touching the roof. So I would just come through, cut all of these bushes off, at least just a good few feet away from the roof. And that should solve that. The gutters on the house look great. 6-inch K-style gutters with the leaf-free gutter system. So all of those look fine all the way around the house. You have another satellite dish over here. Again, I would recommend you remove that. You have a nice tree growing out of your chimney here. And this chimney cap is not in good shape. So I would recommend changing this out. You can see how I can move that. I would recommend getting rid of this completely, putting a metal pipe here, and then going back on with a metal cap. So scraping off all this concrete, and then 1, 2, 3, that little section of brick that's starting to kind of come off the chimney here. After you remove this concrete, it'll probably be a lot easier to settle that brick back into where it was, re-mortar, and then throw a metal rain pan on top of all this with a metal shroud coming out instead of this ceramic or clay stuff. So, and then obviously cut this tree out of here, because that is never good to have pine trees growing out of your chimney. Could be a fire hazard. So I think that just about covers everything. Again, on this side, you have all these box vents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 box vents and the ridge vent. So like I said, I would recommend, if you don't get a new roof out of this, I would recommend taking the ridge vent off and then just putting hip and ridge shingles and leaving these box vents. That's probably your best bet, because taking all these box vents out is probably going to end up causing you a leak if you try to replace these shingles and the wood. You do that, 12 times on the roof, you're more than likely going to cause more problems than you do solve anything. I would just take these off. I mean, they're practically already off. You can see the nails are not even fastened in here anymore. Your nail heads are exposed, starting to rust. So I would just put hip and ridge shingle all the way across on both sides of the roof here. Think of anything else. Pipe boots. Pipe boots need rain collars. You can see the seals around these pipes starting to crack. So you definitely want some rain collars on here. Also, the nail heads are unsealed. And same goes for the box vents up here. Nail heads are unsealed. This right here looks like an older power attic fan. Again, the counter ventilating that's going on with the power attic fan, the box vents, and the ridge vent. You really only want one type of ventilation on your roof, because it'll counter ventilate and deteriorate your shingles a lot faster. So, but I think that just about covers everything. Just to kind of recap, I think you could potentially get this roof bought from insurance. There's enough wind damage up here to justify an insurance claim. Can't guarantee anything. If you don't get a new roof, what you definitely want to do is take out these ridge vent and replace the hip and ridge shingles, trim these trees away from the house, put rain collars in all your pipe boots, take off the satellite dishes, and then address all those chimney issues that I talked about. I think that just about covers everything. So once again, this is Riley Kuntz with Rock House Roofing. Thank you for letting us give you a video roof inspection.